Well, good morning. It's our second night, I think, in our RV. Two people who've never been camping before, who've never had an RV before, jumped off the deep end, and we bought a Newmar Dutch Star 4362, bath and a half. Have no business being in it, really, but here we are. We bought it on Friday the 23rd and spent the day with a really amazing tech named Carrie, who explained everything to us and showed us how to use everything. The only problem is about 15 minutes after he showed us all that stuff, we forgot about 95% of it. We did kind of know where things were, and we did kind of know where to look to get the answers we needed, but we came out to the campsite. Oh, we'd never driven an RV before either, so the salesman was nice enough to let me get behind the wheel of my own vehicle for the first time, and they're incredibly easy to drive. I was very anxious when we first got it, but it's really not as difficult as I thought. That's not to say that we're experts on driving yet, because we're not. As a matter of fact, we leave this campsite that we're in now, which is kind of a dry run, to make sure everything's working okay. And we leave here and we drive about 2 miles east. I'm sorry, 2 hours east. So we'll be driving 2 hours to learn how to drive. So we're getting a driving instruction through Escapees. And we're looking forward to that. And then in May we're going to a week-long school at the Spartan factory, which makes our chassis, so we can learn a lot more about the mechanics of our rig. So Friday night went swimmingly. The place was filled with boxes because we're trying to move in and we were exhausted. So we got to the bed and we passed out. And the next day we started putting everything away, and things were going quite well. We went out and grabbed a little something for breakfast, and then we came back, and then we had to go back out for lunch. And for those of you who don't know, there was a huge snowstorm that hit the Indianapolis area Saturday, and we had to go out to get something for dinner because we didn't have food in here, and it was whiteout conditions. The snow was just incredible, and it was icy. We were sliding all over the place, and it was really kind of stupid to be out there, but we really didn't have much choice. So we get back and we settle in, and the thing that I find amazing is this big RV is warm. It's got a great heating system. The floors are heated. It was very comfortable. And then we woke up this morning, Sunday morning, excuse me, and lo and behold, we had no water. And it didn't take a genius to figure out what had happened. Our water line had frozen. Of course, dreams and thoughts of these dire consequences were flashing through my head, and we went outside and we started looking under the coach, and there was no problems there. The bay is actually heated, so it's not gonna freeze inside the coach or any of the lines that are inside the coach. So it was either between the coach and the water outlet for the park, or it was a water outlet for the park. And it turned out to be that the water outlet for the park, which is in the ground, had frozen. So we unhooked that, and my wife showed me, yes, there was ice there. And so I suggested that we keep it on just a little bit and take this black cover off it so the sun could directly hit on it, because it's a really sunny day today, and maybe thaw that out so we could get water again, because that's kind of essential to wash your hands and flush your toilets and stuff like that. And in fact, what happened was we had opened it up a little bit too much, and when it did thaw a little bit, we had a geyser out there. So the dog got soaked, I got wet, my wife got soaked, but we turned off the water, hooked the hose back up, and lo and behold, we had water. We also found that our gray tank, now the gray tank, for those who may not know, the gray tank in your RV is where all of your wash water goes and your shower water goes, and your washer and dryer, or your washer water goes. And then you have a black tank, and the black tank is where your sewage goes, your liquid and solid waste materials that we produce ourselves. And that was about a quarter full. So we decided to empty we had to empty the gray tank, and we decided to empty the black tank. Now, on YouTube, anybody that looks, there's a lot of mythology about these black tanks and the hoses, and if you ever saw the movie RV, Robin Williams has a hell of a time with his black tank, and so there was a great deal of trepidation when it was time to hook up the hose. And we found out that it's really nothing. If you can put a hose on one end and click it in, and put a hose into the other end and click it in, or have an adapter to click it in, and then you go back and you open it up, it's going to flow. So we did the black tank first, and at the end of our hose there's a 45-degree angle where it's clear so you can see what's going on, which is thrilling. I'm sure my wife really enjoyed that. But all of your sewage comes out first, and then you close that off and you open up the gray tank, which is really soapy water essentially, and that not only empties the tank, but it washes out the hose that had just carried the sewage. And then when that was done, you just unhook it and you stow it into the side of your vehicle in a compartment that's specifically built to hold those, and you're done. I've seen people put on these huge masks and dress up like they're hazmat issues, and we didn't have any gloves on. There was nothing. Your hands don't even get wet. So I think that's a little overblown on YouTube a lot of times. But we did have a crisis with no water, because that means you can't flush your toilets. And of course, the first thing you do when you wake up in the morning is, well, you need to flush your toilet. So, but we did it. The two newbies who've never been so much as camping, who have never done anything like this ever before, other than check into a hotel. We did it. We were able to figure out what was wrong. We problem solved. We monitored and adjusted. We realized that the only constant in life is change. And if we can do it, I'll guarantee you, anybody can do it. But if you're watching, thanks for watching. We're not doing this for money, so subscribe if you'd like. We're going to be posting these as often as we can about how two people who have never done anything like this before are faring as we go along, and create this adventure that we're creating. So long for now. See you later.